Okay, and now we are live.
Right.
Peace, everybody. Welcome to another My Detroit Hustle Artist Spotlight on Always Hustling. I'm OG10 from MyDetroitHustle.com, where we highlight the world's hottest underground, independent, and unsigned hip hop. Today, we're doing something a little different because this platform isn't just about artists, it's about the people pushing the culture forward. I'm joined today by Andrea Smith, also known as Smoke, the host of Premier Drop Podcast, where she taps in with real conversations around hip hop and fashion. She's already sat down with some heavy hitters like Rustee Juxx, Jae Skeese, Pretty Bully, and Bernadette Price. So she's definitely been putting in work and building something serious. We're going to talk to her about her journey, what she's building, her perspective on the culture, and what artists need to do to understand moving forward. So, Smoke, what's good with you?
Ooh, hello, OG. It's nice to finally link up.
Right, right,
I
right.
respect you a lot.
I've been following your podcast. I've been lurking.
Listen, you are one of the first people to really give me some type of direction or some just advice, to starting. So, I want to thank you and I appreciate you watching me and giving me tips where I needed to step up. I appreciate you.
Well, that's what I feel like I'm supposed to do. That's how things are supposed to work. You're supposed to
Mhm.
pass things down to the next generation, especially if you see them doing the right thing. So it's my pleasure to see you guys succeeding in what you're doing.
I thank you. I thank you. And I love the support that you have from my sister. That means the world to me. So I love how you support her and her and her brand.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely riding for the bully. So
Shout
let's
out
get
to my
into this thing. For people who may not be familiar yet, introduce yourself. Who is Andrea Smith, aka Smoke, and what is the Premier Drop podcast all about?
So OG, he just really gave out my full name. My full name. So
Oops.
yeah, most people call me Drea. My
Right.
family, they call me Janine. That's my middle name, Janine. So you probably know me as Janine as well. You know, I, I'm cool, charismatic, individual who's been around hip hop for a very, very long time.
Right.
Very long time. Very long time. Entrepreneur. I love fashion. I love sneakers. And that's how Premier Drop came about. So Premier Drop is about fusing the two. So because music intertwines with fashion and vice versa, inspires it. So I decided to create a platform where artists who are equally into fashion, equally into it's not even just fashion for me, it's arts. It's
Right.
really broader than just sneakers and fashion. I love the arts. So it actually transcends beyond just hip hop, or just music per se. So I collide those two worlds, and at the end of the show, we end up talking about what their holy grail or what their art, what their most important item means to them, and we discuss it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of touched on this, but what made you start the Premier Drop podcast, and what was the vision when you first launched it?
Um, Starting the podcast was actually me taking a step back, and let me explain. The real vision for Premier Drop was a sneaker store, an actual brick and mortar sneaker store here in Buffalo, New York. I went to several different locations. Me and my homegirl at the time, when she was a part of it too. Shout out to Tammy. We went to different locations to see what would fit us and in our vision for, because it was like a luxury sneaker store. That's the vision. So God gave me that vision, but I was working it backwards. That was the end goal.
Right.
So I was working the dream backwards. So nobody, in order to get my name out, and tell people what it is and what I do so I can build that in the long run. So that's how Premier Drop started. I was always into radio back in like 2014, 2015 on Soul Shock Radio. It was a independent internet radio station, and I had a show on there called Sound Off.
Right.
So I've always, and even younger, when I was like 17, I used to I wanted to have a record label, and that name was OAV. So I just always, been in the music. And so being that I'm heavy into fashion, it's just only right to combine the two.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that stands out about you is you don't just talk music, you connect with hip hop and fashion. Why was it important for you to bring those two worlds together?
Individuality. I love individuality, and I don't necessarily dress like others. I love people who are just themselves, and just they are just them. They are comfortable with whatever garment they chose to grace their body and put it the way they needed it to go. So individuality, like when I came up, let's just say 92, right? So 92 was a great year for hip hop. We had so many artists, so
Right.
much individuality. And that's why I fell in love with hip hop, because it was so much individuality, and you that you normally wouldn't see in your bubble. So that's why it was important for me to fuse the two, because I really want to showcase people's individuality.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have already interviewed names like Rustee Juxx, Jae Skeese, Pretty Bully, Bernadette Price. What have you learned from sitting down with people on that level?
Learned as far as you know what, I can say honestly what I've learned from every last one of them. Even I interviewed Illa G too. It didn't make the final cut because my camera equipment I was new. I was novice, so I gotta reach back out to him and get him back on there. But work ethic.
Right.
The one thing that I can just say with working with these individual artists, these so talented creative artists, is the work ethic. You
Right.
have to put in the work. Look at Rustee. Rustee got, I think Rustee probably just dropped the album right now, right while we speaking.
Yeah,
He
he's
is
at him.
he is constantly working. My sister, even in her downtime, she is constantly working, whether it's her creating music or just building her brand. She is
Right.
constantly working. So Bernadette, she just dropped the second album, which was really quick. So, and it bang, work ethic. So that's what I learned from each and every one of those artists that I've sat down with. Work ethic and just authenticity. Everybody is their true authentic selves.
Right.
Not one of those individuals that I interview is like any other.
Right.
And
Right.
and and so that's how I just try to keep it.